fear public speaking because you know you're going to have anxiety through the roof and you're going to turn red, whether that be blushing or flushing. You are not alone, and I want to tell you my most recent experience with public speaking, being someone who has dealt with chronic blushing and flushing erythrophobia in the past. Hi, I'm April, and I've spent years of researching erythrophobia, the fear of blushing in front of others. And through my own personal journey, I have overcome erythrophobia. The goal of this channel is to help you move through your redness and into living your best life. As someone who was able to beat erythrophobia in less than 3 years, I know there's hope for anyone who's on this journey. So let's jump into the video. The National Institute of Mental Health reports that public speaking anxiety or glossophobia affects about 73% of the population. The underlying fear is judgment or negative evaluation by others. Public speaking anxiety is considered a social anxiety disorder. And this is from an article that I found that was written in February of 2017, and I will post that article below so that you can read more about it. Here's a snippet from another article. Why is public speaking so scary? Some psychologists trace extreme cases of stage fright to childhood trauma. Others say that fear of public speaking builds gradually over time as we avoid every opportunity to speak. Still, others point out that the fear of public speaking may be a byproduct of low self-esteem and a fear of being judged harshly. And I'll link that article below as well. For me, it's always been a fear of judgment, a fear of being criticized, and specifically in my work environment, that's where a lot of my trauma and a lot of my flushing began, is from being in work environments with superiors who were not safe. So you're told to bring your best self, bring yourself, be who you are, bring that person forward. But in my working environments, that person, being who she really was, always got penalized and chastised for speaking my mind and bringing creativity forward and actually challenging things sometimes that maybe were against the norm. And I knew that I would be reprimanded and potentially fired, and I have been fired multiple times. So that story that was wired into me was very true. That was my truth. So if it came to me giving any sort of public presentation, the fear of being judged harshly and criticized was really the thing that would make me have the most social anxiety. Over analyzing every single thing that I thought or felt or wanted to say, and the pressure being so immense that flushing and blushing was definitely going to happen. So this year, when I needed to give a presentation at my company's annual gathering, I really was not comfortable at first. It has been 2 years since I've spoken publicly somewhere, and the last time that I actually spoke publicly was at my dad's memorial service. He passed away in June of 2020, and I was speaking at his memorial service, which is not an ideal place to be giving a presentation, but also there were no superiors there. This was just a connection of words and things that I wanted to say in regards to my dad. But for being in front of people publicly, it had been at least 2 years. And when I say this is my annual company event, I work in a remote environment, and this is the first time I was also going to be meeting any of my team members in person and also give a presentation in front of them. Talk about like anxiety level being through the roof. This was the perfect opportunity to create erythrophobia and chronic blushing, but I was able to do that presentation. In one of my previous videos, I talked about propranolol and the benefits of propranolol. It's a beta blocker that can really help reduce flushing for chronic blushers and flushers. And many people are actually prescribed propranolol because of public speaking fear, because it can help calm the nervous system, help you focus on the task at hand. And for a lot of people who do public speaking, some of us may turn red, some of us tremble, some of us shake, and propranolol can really help with a lot of those sympathetic nervous system responses. It can help calm a lot of those down. There's an article about propranolol that says, and I will post this below as well so you can read more about it, but it says, if you need something to help calm your nerves before a big speech or performance, propranolol may be able to help. Propranolol works by blocking beta receptors in the body to lessen anxiety's physical symptoms such as dizziness, sweaty palms, fast pulse. You can read more about that in the description below, or watch my previous videos about propranolol and my updates on if it was beneficial for me. So I have a prescription for propranolol, but I didn't really want to take it on this work trip because it's been so long since I've really been in front of people presenting in my professional career that I have the prescription. I haven't taken it since about September 2021, and I really wanted to see what is my baseline. I wanted to see how my body reacted, how I mentally reacted to being front and center in front of people at work in the space that has not been safe to me prior. This is a new place, and I haven't done anything, open and in front of everybody. As I said, this was the first time I was going to meet these people, but they have proven over the past year that I feel like it's a safe environment with safe people. So I really wanted to see where my body, where my nervous system, where my mind was, and what my baseline is, and how much progress I've made over the past few years. So I didn't want to take propranolol to numb any of that out, and I was going to take that risk of showing up fully as myself, even if I flushed, just to see where I was. The day of the presentation rolls around. At this point, we had been together for about 4 days, so I was kind of used to being around everybody. We had done some things during the day together and then some things in the evening together, so really was feeling safe around the people. So the day of the presentation rolls around, and I give my presentation, and I did not blush. I did not flush. And if I did, I wasn't aware of it. And I didn't even feel nervous, honestly. I think I kind of get a little bit of the butterflies before you present, but during the presentation itself, I did not flush or blush or feel nervous or anxious or any of those feelings that you get for public speaking. I didn't feel it. And I want to tell you why I think I had so much success. I've worked for this company remotely for a year, and it's the actions of the people around me in the virtual environment that have really helped to reset my body and just wire something new in me. The authority figures that I work really closely with are humans. They treat you like a human. They're so respectful. When you're talking to one of them, they are very respectful about other coworkers, and you can tell a lot by how your boss talks about other people. And my boss is incredibly uplifting and empowering, and always looking for ways to help give people the tools they need. Very autonomous, trust people beyond the shadow of a doubt, and I've just never experienced anything like that. So I believed I was with safe people, and I believed I was in a safe place. And I believed that I belonged. And in my inner being, I believed those things. So I think that's one of the reasons why I had such a positive experience with the presentation. Number two, I was prepared for the presentation. So I work in human resources. I was giving a presentation in regards to open enrollment and benefits and things that were insightful for the employees of this company. And I knew what I was talking about. I was very confident in what I was sharing. I had prepared a presentation that would give me talking points. I felt good about what I was sharing, and I knew what I was giving them was beneficial for them. And so I think that being prepared and knowing what I was talking about and feeling very confident in the material itself really helped kind of reinforce again that safe environment that I don't have to pretend here because I know what I'm talking about. Number three, I dressed comfortably. I felt really good in my clothes. They fit properly. And I also wore a high neck shirt. I flush on my chest and my neck. That's where I tend to flush. And so if I wear a lower cut shirt, which I wouldn't wear a lower cut shirt anyway because that's not flattering on my body style. It's very elongated. I have a pretty long neck. But I could wear a t-shirt like this. But for that day specifically, I wore a higher neck shirt because I knew that if I'm going to flush, it's going to happen on my chest and my neck. And if I feel it and know that that's coming, or I over obsess about it, it's going to happen, and that's going to contribute to me losing my confidence. So yes, is that an avoidance behavior to hide the thing that I'm afraid of? Yeah, but you know what? I don't care. For me, it was about getting through that presentation, and for wearing a high neck shirt, if that was going to help me feel more confident in my clothing, then that's what I was going to do. And I will tell you, just because I wear a high neck shirt, because I flush on my chest and my neck, that doesn't get rid of being able to see the redness. I also flush up the sides of my face and on my cheeks as well. It's not something that I did a lot in the past. I didn't blush much on my face, but I do now. And so it still comes up the sides of my face, my ears, and up my cheeks here. So it's not a full avoidance thing. It's just the worst view of it is happening right here, and it looks like an allergic reaction. So I just got rid of that opportunity by wearing a high neck shirt. So yes, is that an avoidance behavior? Yeah, it is. But it also still is me showing up, and if that's the one thing I could do to help keep that confidence level up, then I was going to do that. Number four, I have spent the past year really working on reframing. What do I think about blushing? I've spent so many years so concerned about what other people are going to think about me because I'm turning red. And over the past year, I've really spent a lot of time removing the people and their judgment and thinking more about what do I think about me and turning red? What do I think about me? And taking the power back into my own world, into my own universe, into what do I think? Reframing my thoughts has helped me regain control of my life. When you start moving past symptoms and really looking to extract the roots, it looks a little something like this when you're reframing. I hate that I flush. I wonder why I hate that I flush. Instead of, I wonder why I flush, I wonder why I hate that I flush. Why do I feel insecure because my skin turns red? I feel like people will judge me or think I'm weak. I feel like people will judge my emotions. I'm afraid I'll be misunderstood. I'm afraid to not be seen aesthetically perfect. I wonder why I think I need to be perfect. Wow, I never realized that I'm dealing with perfectionism. And this got me thinking back to when I was younger and growing up. If there was something on TV, I remember my parents were very critical of people on TV, and not just my parents, just people that I was around. If an actress had gained weight or done something to her hair, my surrounding environment, my people around me would make negative comments about what a person looked like. And especially if they gained weight, especially if they had some sort of physical change that my people around me didn't feel was a good one, they would vocally share, "Ew, she's gotten fat. Oh, she should not have done her hair like that. Ooh, she does not look good like that." And it happened around me all the time. I didn't really think much about it. I just remember being in the environment. And the only reason why I started to think about it is as I was reframing and trying to dig into why do I hate turning red? What is it about being misunderstood or being judged that is really debilitating to me? And it took me back to being this kid, listening to the people around me criticize people who were front and center on TV because of the way they looked. And I think I took this information that was around me and embedded it into my heart and my soul and the fiber of my being so that I could be aesthetically pleasing and not judged. I knew that if I could stay thin and looking a certain way, then I will not be judged. And that judgment equates to rejection, and that rejection feels like something that's intolerable. If I can stay perfect, I can stay safe. But life is not safe. Life is life, and it's neutral. The more I would try to stay safe, the more enslaved I would become. I wasn't always like this, and I believe that if we can get wired one way, we can get wired another way. So just because you turn red right now, or you flush, or you deal with hyperhidrosis, or something that makes you feel incredibly insecure because of something that was wired into you, I believe you can rewire a whole different pattern and have totally different results. We get wired based off of our beliefs, or a set of limited beliefs. And if we can choose beliefs, I believe that we can rewire that belief system to new beliefs and get different outcomes. Dr. Joe Dispenza, and I read his book, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, and it was life-altering for me. I would highly, highly, highly recommend it. I'll link it below in the description box for you. It literally transformed my life. I'll also put a link to Audible in the description box below for you. If you don't have Audible, you can use my link below and get 30 days free trial. If you're a busy on-the-go person like myself, I do have physical books that I sometimes read, but for the most part, if I really want to get some books in, it's through Audible. So be sure to check that out. We have more power than we give ourselves credit for. Rewiring and reframing are tools at our disposal. So I think I was able to give a presentation in person and not have this crazy sympathetic nervous system reaction because I wasn't fearing the blushing anymore. So just a quick recap. Number one, I was in a safe environment. I believed I was safe based off of what had been proven to me in the past. Number two, I was prepared with my material. I knew what I was talking about. Number three, I dressed confidently and comfortable. Number four, I had reframed and I continue to reframe my thoughts around blushing. When you accept yourself, you are not looking for validation from the outside world around you. And I know that can be hard, but it takes work to get there and it can be done. Ultimately, I showed up. Regardless of whether I was gonna turn red or not, I just showed up. I told myself that redness would not stop me, and this was part of keeping that promise to myself that I would show up regardless. Have you spoken in public recently, or do you have a public speaking event coming up? Please share some of your tips and tools of how you are able to stand up in front of people and present knowing that all the judgment is out there to be given, and how do you show up? Love to hear from you. My camera battery died, so I was just saying, give this video a thumbs up if it was helpful. Be sure to subscribe if you want more videos like this. And remember, you are so much more than redness. I look forward to serving you in my next video.